Last week, I went over my top 6 flex supports in OWCS right now, and today it's time for the main supports. I care a lot about main support since it's the role I play, mostly just Lucio. I don't think I made it totally clear in the last video, but I'm going to be ranking these players based off of their performance throughout all of OWCS, not just based off of who's the best right now. That's why someone like Simple, who's top tier right now, didn't make the list, because he lacks the wins and accomplishments of the other guys earlier in OWCS. And the same is going to apply for the main supports. It was really hard to pick my top 6, but I think I have a solid list. I have a lot of honorable mentions, so let's just jump right in. My honorable mentions are Bliss, Kellex, Lep, Faith, Lee Soo-min, Fixa, Crispy, FD God, and Nenwai. All of these guys have been extremely good throughout OWCS and are usually pretty consistent, solid players, aside from Ajax's. Notably, I had a really hard time picking this person to go in my number 6 spot, and I almost put Bliss and Kellex in, but they just fell short to my number 6 for a couple of small reasons. Kellex is a multi-time stage winner and he's been pretty consistent throughout his time in ENCE and Alcatia. I really thought this guy was going to be declining by now, but somehow he's playing the best he ever has right now, and he's a great performer on the best team in EMEA as of right now. As for Bliss, he's been a great player on Yeti, Space Station, Twisted, and Zeta. Although he's never really been elite, he's been more than serviceable and has been a reliable piece for multiple different teams. Both of these guys can be mostly interchangeable in the top 6, but they don't quite make my list. Also, a quick reminder before we get started, this video is subjective and I'm sure everyone is going to have a different list than me, so let me know who your top 6 are in the comment section below. Finally, one last honorable mention is going to go to Violet, who I am yet again leaving off this list. I don't really know how to feel about Violet, because on one hand, he's one of the greatest players of all time. But during OWCS, he's kind of more known for his Ajaxes than his great plays, and he's cost Zeta multiple times. I just don't really know how to feel about it. Also, Violet isn't playing main support anymore, he's going back to flex support, so I don't really even know if he qualifies for this list. To make it simpler and just not really worry about it, I'm going to leave him off of both of the lists. Violet is elite, but he really needs to make up his mind and needs to stop accepting cash app offers to feed at the worst possible times. At number 6, I have Vega. Despite the memes and people constantly dunking on him, he's actually a pretty good main support. Obviously, he was a part of the Toronto Defiant and he won 4 straight NA titles as a part of that team. Vega proved pretty quickly that he was a top-tier main support in North America last year, and although he hasn't been quite as dominant this season, he's still very good. As a part of Team Liquid, he's been consistently competing for the top of North America, and aside from some admittedly bad Lucio ults, he's been a solid, playmaking main supports that most teams would be eager to have. I was really conflicted on picking Kellex or Vega, and honestly, I've been flipping back and forth between them while making this video. But I gotta put someone out here, so I'm just gonna lock in Vega, since I believe he provides more playmaking and is a lot less likely to retire at the end of this season than Kellex is. Hopefully, Vega can prove me right, although he's probably gonna Ajax at the worst time, and the endless dunking on him will continue. At number 5, I have Mew, formerly known as Xerneas and Yveltal, who gets bonus points for the Pokemon username. During my last video, I admittedly forgot about the entire Chinese region, and totally forgot about Monk, who's an absolute dog, and he deserved an honorable mention at the very least. Luckily, I remembered this time, and Mew deservedly sneaks in at the number 5 spot. Although we haven't gotten to see these guys play as much as we'd like, they're certainly one of those top tier teams to look out for at every international LAN. Mew is famous for being a really good Mercy player, but don't let his Mercy distract you from his great Lucio and even better Brig. Mew came in and took Lanxa's spot in the lineup, and he's honestly made OA a little better. They've won both China Stage 1 and 2, and they placed top 4 in the Champions Clash, losing to Crazy Raccoon, who would later win. Although once again struggled in the mid-season tournament, I expect to see this team competing at the top again, and Mew has continued to dominate the Chinese region. Gotta give the China region just a little bit of love, and Mew deservedly takes number 5. Moving up to the top 4, I yet again have a really difficult decision to make, because I also went back and forth on players 3 and 4. But ultimately, I gotta give the number 4 spot to FunnyAstro. Fastro has been an extremely good main support, having one of the best Lucios, a really good Brig, and Juno. When FunnyAstro is on a team, he elevates them and is able to provide some of the most consistent support play in OWCS. Last season, he played for Space Station Gaming, helping the team to 2 stage wins and a 3rd place finish in the Dallas Major, which they ended up losing to the eventual champions Crazy Raccoon. In 2025, he was a huge component of Twisted Minds, helping them to a 4th place and later 2nd place finish in EMEA Stage 1 and 2. On top of that, he placed top 3 in the midseason tournament, and he's looked quite good. FunnyAstro is the definition of consistency. He's been dominating the EMEA region, and although he could probably be top 3, I think I gotta give the edge to Admiral. I think it's time someone gives Admiral his flowers. The richest man in Estonia has been sneaky good throughout OWCS, and he seems to only be getting better and better with every passing week. Admiral was bouncing around teams in the early parts of 2024, with roster mania causing him to play with new players basically every stage, yet somehow, Admiral remained consistent. He played for Left Right Ignite, Twisted Minds, FMCL, Timeless, and finally Nightmare. Once he arrived on Nightmare in NA Stage 3, he immediately elevated his team to the top of NA, rivaling a dominant Toronto Defiant and NRG Shock team. He finished 3rd and then 2nd in Stage 3 and 4, and he even helped Nightmare to an upset win over Space Station Gaming in the playoffs. In 2025, Admiral has somehow gotten even better, helping Nightmare to a Stage 1 victory and even upsetting Crazy Raccoon and placing 3rd in the championship clash. All the while, he's had an amazing Lucio, Brig, Juno, and even Lifeweaver. After Stage 1, Nightmare got picked up by GK, and Admiral immediately continued where he left off, winning NA Stage 2. In the Champions Clash, they made it to top 8, getting eliminated by the future champs, Team Falcons, in a really close 2-3 loss. As of right now, GK is 4-0 in North America, and Admiral is widely considered to be the best NA main support right now. Although I think that Admiral and FunnyAstro are pretty much interchangeable, I feel like Admiral has more than done enough to earn his number 3 spot. In the silver medal spot, I have one of my favorite players, and an easy top 2 main support, that being ChiYo. After winning a ring with the Florida Mayhem in 2023, ChiYo continued his dominance into OWCS as a part of Crazy Raccoon. On Crazy Raccoons, ChiYo has won multiple stages, the Dallas Major, the Esports World Cup, and the Champions Clash. ChiYo is one of the most consistent main supports in the league, with his Lucio, Brig, and Kiriko always playing at a high level. Although he's not as flashy as some of the other main supports, he is almost never the problem, always elevating the floor of every team he's on. Watching ChiYo play is always so entertaining because you can just see how smart he is. He's able to help his team while knowing when to make plays. In basically every major tournament, ChiYo has placed top 2 in almost all of them, and he's always a top performer on his team. I've seen a little sentiment from certain OWCS fans saying that ChiYo isn't that good. And to those people, I just gotta ask, do you even watch the games? Like, I don't watch every match, especially not the Korea matches, because, they happen at 3 AM, but watching one game of Team Falcons versus Crazy Raccoon will show you just how good ChiYo can be. ChiYo has basically been a top 2 main support throughout all of OWCS, and I think the gap between him and number 1 is quite small. And depending on how this season finishes, he could take number 1. But for now, my best main support in OWCS so far has to be ChiYo. Yeah, I know, Atlanta Reign bias, but it's pretty clear that ChiYo is an absolute dog. After a tragic ending in 2023, ChiYo joined his fellow Reign teammates Fielder and Stalker on Team Falcons, and they have been dominating at OWCS since then. He's won multiple stages, both in Korea and Asia, and was widely considered to be a top 2 main support along ChiYo, all throughout OWCS. At the end of the 2024 season, ChiYo took home his 2nd ring, which puts him in elite company, especially considering that he's only played in 4 seasons, including the current one. If he wins this year, that means he's going to win 3 of the 4 seasons he's played in, which is unreal. Another perk of ChiYo is his flexibility. He can play Brig, Juno, and he can pick up new heroes with ease like Wooyoung. On top of that, ChiYo is a playmaker, often getting kills in an aggressive fashion and taking lots of risks that ultimately pay off due to his insane mechanics and aim. On top of this, ChiYo is a generational hater. You remember that beef between ChiYo and Donghack on the Atlanta Reign that supposedly cost them the playoffs? Well, ChiYo is currently 10-0 all-time against Donghack throughout OWCS. If that's not next level hating, then I don't know what is. ChiYo is a freak, and when I'm looking for a top tier main support gameplay, ChiYo's my go-to guy. Choosing between ChiYo and Chorong was pretty difficult, but I feel like ChiYo brings just that extra little bit of playmaking that no other main support can quite really do. Combining that with his insane mechanic and his success so far, makes him my pick for the best main support in OWCS so far. With that said, those are my top 6 main supports in OWCS. If you like this video, do me a huge favor and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate the support on these recent videos, it's meant a lot, and if you want more from me, follow me on Twitter, link in the description. That's all for me. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, love you guys.